Alright, we're rolling. Before I start talking, well, I'm already talking, but I'm going to explain two things. If when I upload this video, it looks hot, that's because I live in hot Atlanta and it's been 90 degrees, I swear to God, for the past 3 weeks. It's July 31st, 2015, and it is hot. Alright, I swear it's been 90 degrees for the past 3 weeks. Basically, the whole month of July has been hot. And tomorrow's going to be August 1st, 2015, and it's still going to be 90 degrees in Atlanta. So, excuse me if I look a little bit glossy or whatever. Second thing, my hat. I went home, when did I go home? Last month, June, and my sisters bought me this hat. And let me show you. Now, it's too big for my head, but I am Buffalo Bills fan all day, and they know that, so they bought me this hat. So thank you, Rudy and Tootie. Anyways, let's get to the subject at hand, which is where I'm at in this 6 Minutes of Death series. Now, my last commentary I did, that was a commentary before I started living on the street, went homeless and all that good stuff. Now, if you ever heard me speak, you hear me speak about the Warrior Salute program. And let me tell you how I got into the apartment that you see me in after my last commentary. So, when I was in the hospital after getting shot at Fort Carson, General Mixon came into my hospital room, and this was at the same time that my mom was there. So General Mixon, he was a major general, two-star general for those of you who don't know. I was a private, a PFC, a E3, way down here on the totem pole, and he's way up here. Okay. Now General Mixon came into my room with a bunch of other generals, and him and my mom were talking. And he said, "Where are you guys from?" And my mom said, "Yeah, we from Rochester, New York." And we were all like, "No way, we from Rochester too." Blah blah blah, yada yada yada. And he said, "Well, I'm retiring soon, and when I retire, I'm going to be moving to Rochester, New York." And he said, "If you need anything, you can look me up at any time." And I said, "Yeah, right, dude. You in here with these cameras, you doing what you're supposed to do as a major general, you taking care of your troops. I'm a PFC, you a major general. You're not gonna remember me tomorrow." But when I got home, first thing I did was reach out to News Source 13 in Rochester, New York, and I talked to Sean Carroll. I do have a relationship with the media, at least in Rochester, New York. News Source 13. Thank you guys for all that you do. Um, but I reached out to Sean and said, "Sean, man, I'm just having a hard time with life right now, man. Can you get this story out there? What can you do to help me?" So he hooked me up with General Mixon. He gave me his information. And I said, "Man, this dude ain't gonna remember me, man." But I was desperate as hell. I was in my car, so I reached out to General Mixon. And General Mixon took a look at me, man, and he said, "We're gonna get you in this Warrior Salute program. It's a startup program for veterans just like you in your situation." He didn't know I was suffering from PTSD at the time and major depression and all that stuff. But he said, "Yes, I do remember you. We're going to take you in and give you somewhere to stay." Let me tell you what that means to me. General Mixon, his name is Robert Mixon. General Robert Mixon is a man of great integrity. Okay. He kept his promise. I do have a picture of him, which I'll probably upload or show later or whatever. But this dude took me out of the back seat of my car and got me into the Warrior Salute program and got me into my own 1 bedroom, well, actually 2 bedroom apartment in Webster. Words can't describe how grateful I was for this man at the time. That's just a military bond that I had with this man. And that's just how we all look out for each other. I got into the Warrior Salute program. I got a job and I got a 2 bedroom apartment that, by the way, I didn't have to pay any rent for. I got counseling, I got a job, and I got a 2 bedroom apartment all free. All of this brought to you by CDS Salute. Well, CDS Unistel in Rochester, New York. I suggest you all look up this program. It's the CDS Warrior Salute program, but you can also look up CDS Monarch, which is the parent program, the parent company, and the company that I worked for was CDS Unistel. And my job was to take care of those individuals with developmental disabilities, such as autism, Down syndrome, um, cerebral palsy. I was a supervisor inside the Spice Factory, and I very slowly started to feel like somebody again. So if you're out there, General Mixon, if you ever see this, thank you so much. Now for the rest of the world, let me tell you what was still going on in my mind at the time. So I was in a apartment, yes I was. But that only took away one of the many factors that I was facing. I was still pretty much very, very lonely and still making my transition from that military lifestyle to civilian lifestyle. And the transition was very rough for me because, like I said, I was the first person in my family to join the military. So no one really knew how to support me. And I was still looking for my friends that I went to high school with, and the relationships they just changed. And I was still hanging out with Silas and my homegirl Jasmine. Shout out to my homegirl Tanisha. I met her when she moved out, when she lived out in Fairport. But even though I had a job and somewhere to stay, I was still facing depression because I still wanted to be in the army and I was still new to the program. So I was very slowly finding out how to be David Kendrick instead of Sergeant Kendrick. Okay. Now, some people, they can make that transition like that because some people are just in the army because I know that at least back when I was in, you had the option to either go to jail or go to the army. And some people chose to go to the army for 3 years and get out. I wanted the army to be my entire life. I wanted to freaking die in the army. I wanted that to be my entire life. So when I got injured and that was taken away from me, I had a hard time figuring out who am I without this on my shoulder and without that U.S. Army, name tape on my chest. Who is David Kendrick? I know who Sergeant Kendrick was, but who is David? You know, so I had to reestablish my own identity, which was very hard for me to do. And I wanted to be as far away from reality as possible. So I was still getting high during the daytime with my homeboy Silas and getting drunk at night. Quick shout out to Silas and LP. Keep your head up, LP. Keep your head up, Lucius. Lucius Peters. Keep your head up, man. But I had a hard time identifying with who I was. And you guys hear me listen to a lot of music in these videos. That's just the music that I listen to in these videos is how I related to life at the time. So at this point, I was listening to Kanye West Runaway a lot because I felt like I literally just wanted to fucking run away. Run the fuck away. I was still dealing with suicidal thoughts. I was fucking letting pills dissolve in bottles of tequila and just whatever happened happened because I didn't care because I felt like I wasn't getting the support that I wanted from my friends and family. I had actually three good friends, Silas, Jasmine, and my homeboy Leslie in Rochester. And at the same time, I felt like the city was letting me down because I came from a big city like Colorado Springs back home to Rochester and it was so whack. Rochester got real whack. It's not a place for a person in their mid 20s. There's not too much advancement there. So, um, I decided to drink it and drug it to sleep every night, listen to music, make these videos, and just try to find out, who I really was. And you hear me talk about a lot of females and how much I missed Colorado, because Colorado Springs to me, that represented the military. That represented everything that was right in my life at the time. Even now, I still say when I was in Colorado Springs, when I first moved there, when I was um when I was 18 years old, all my friends were still alive. I was in love, like a love that I never felt before. I had, you know, most of the most basic, most important thing was just the friends that I had. I had a clique, man. That Bird Gang clique. Phelps, Artist, G, Kennedy, and OG Triple OG. It was six of us, man, and those dudes became like my brothers. And I was trying to chase that friendship that I had and trying to reestablish it with other friends. And I had to realize that, that was a once in a lifetime friendship. That was a once in a lifetime clique that you'll get once in your life. You'll get that one group of friends that it's just magical. It's like you guys known each other your whole life. And I was chasing that feeling and trying to establish it with other people, but it just wasn't the same. And then I had to realize that, you know what, man, that was a once in a lifetime thing. You have to let that go. You always have those memories, the pictures, the videos. OG gone, OG Triple OG, he gone. Um, I just had to move on from that. So what you see me doing, at least at this period in time, is reinventing myself, finding out who I really am. My mom got me going to church, Christ Community Church of Rochester, with the great pastor Marlo, Mr. Marlo Washington. Um, and that's about it for this video. I'm gonna let this go. It's real hot in Atlanta. Shout out to them Buffalo Bills. Rex Ryan, you better do us right this year. Shout out to John Cena with his broken nose. John Cena's a beast, man. And give my man Cesaro some credit, Vince McMahon. Okay? We out.